This is 80s Revisited. I'm your producer, Jesse Sedgley. And now, your host, Trey Harris.
Can you feel it? Overload of testosterone and some estrogen thrown in for spice.
That's right.
I'm assuming as we are here again for the second time in 80s Revisited podcast history for the second annual 100-character Battle Royale to the Death Showdown to crown the second ever 80s icon champion from the last 100 films that we've covered.
Wow.
Of course, I'm your host and one half of the ring I'm the ring, a part of the master, Trey Harris. With me, the master part of the ring master, Jesse Sedgley.
Yes, I am.
If that makes any sense, what I just said, then you're qualified to listen and watch this podcast / channel on YouTube or Twitch. So just to bring everybody up who wasn't here 100 plus episodes ago, after we did our first 100 or so episodes, we had 100 characters, one character from every film that we covered. We threw them into an empty arena. And we just speculated who would win in randomized death matches until we crowned the winner. And the winner of the first one was none other than John Rambo from Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Right.
So if you want to, if I just completely spoil that for you if you haven't listened to it.
I mean, could have been the winner.
It may have been. It could have. Well, if you follow that character's path, it actually could have been somebody else. But we actually debunked that in an episode anyway.
I think you're remembering falsely, Trey.
Maybe. I don't remember anymore. I'm just saying random thoughts that come to my head. Spadoinkle! But anyway, so yeah, we did it once before, and then between... because we're on episode 230 something, somewhere around there, 240, so I don't remember.
225, I think.
Something like that. So, but of course we had the best of each decade going on in there, and then some other special episodes where we didn't necessarily have characters, so to speak. So the only thing I will caution people with this one, the first 100, every character was an icon. We got some lesser known people in this one. Because we did, we've arguably covered the biggest movies of the decade, already. I mean, there are many notable exceptions. Don't get me wrong. A lot of characters we're saving for particular months or themes or stuff like that. But there's going to be some much easier decisions with this one. Now, this is the ballot sheet or the bracket. For our viewers at home, not our listeners, sorry, you'd have to watch it. I just had a folded up sheet of paper. I entered one character from every film that we covered, put it in Excel, and then randomized the cells. And then color-coded every 2 cells. So that's the first fight, second fight, et cetera, et cetera. And then in our first Battle Royale, what we had done was, it was just an empty arena. We just speculated. We had a lot of debate on what they had, but we took all that out to make it a lot more fun and random, because random is fun.
Random is king.
Because we don't want Godzilla fighting, the teenager from 16 Candles. So that's an easy one.
Or maybe we do want that.
Yeah, it depends. We'll see. So what we have here, and the reason we didn't have an episode last week, I have on these Cards Against Humanity cards that you could write.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. These plain white cards I got from some online retailer. I have randomized locations, and Jesse has weapons. So we're going to read the match, and then we will determine where they fight and what they have to fight with. Because before, we had Rambo, he had his bow and arrow, and Superman was up in there, I believe. Marty had the DeLorean, so... This takes makes it a little more cut and dried for some, might make it a lot more difficult for others. It might make an otherwise boring match completely exciting.
Yeah, that's true.
Or this might fail spectacularly and I take full responsibility. But I think regardless, I think it's going to be fun. I think there's going to be some really bizarre circumstances laid out before the combatants. So
that's all completely random.
Absolutely.
Just like cards are.
Let me get another sheet of paper to kind of hide some of the matches as I go down.
Other podcasts would just completely plan everything. So
not us.
Be glad you're not listening to those.
Okay, so the sheet is open, and I have this card blocking them.
This is all filmed live on YouTube. Search 80s Revisited Podcast.
All right. We have the first combatants.
Okay.
It's actually a really good fight. I think.
That's right. You randomized the whole list.
So,
okay.
Again, everybody was random. So... from one side, or player one,
Yeah.
Crocodile Dundee.
Okay.
From
Knife is
Crocodile
spinning.
Dundee. He will be facing my Halloween costume from this year, Dolly Parton from 9 to 5.
If you want to see pictures, message Trey on Instagram at
80s_revisited.
That's it.
I had to think
we
for a
never can
second.
remember.
So, I think it's a pretty good matchup just with that.
Yeah.
Because we saw that in 9 to 5, Dolly's good with a rifle, good with a rope. But they will be fighting the location of the stage. Mm-hmm. You know, this was Mortal Kombat or 80s Revisited Combat. We got our character selected. We both went random select.
Yeah.
We pick the stage. We go random for the stage, and they will be fighting on or in the Running Man ice rink.
The Running Man ice rink.
That means it's an ice rink with nets that if you get thrown to the net, it's going to slam shut, and the other person can kill you.
Okay.
In it. So, and their weapons will be...
So I'm going to be pulling 2 cards.
Just one.
Oh, just one?
Yeah,
they're
they
using
each have the same weapon.
Oh, okay.
Now that's actually a good... I didn't even think about that,
Yeah.
what you said. So for these initial battles, we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll have the same weapon.
Same weapon.
And then for when we get down to the...
Round
as we
2.
progress, we'll have complete
because they'll
random...
be more evened out anyway. So yeah.
The first round, the easy prey gets taken out, and we have the
Okay.
true combatants.
So both of them will be armed with 2 poison throwing stars each. So they are on ice skates or no?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
So
so
they have to maintain
they're
their balance.
wobbling with poison
2 of
throwing
them.
stars. 2 of them, yeah.
So that way, they can miss once. They still have an extra one. So,
Neither are clumsy, I would say.
well, the thing is, Dundee's kind of quick on his feet, but Dolly would be in heels, which would give her possible better
Do you
traction
think she would
on
be
ice.
wise enough to just kick them off, though? She seemed like the type of girl that would sacrifice her heels to get at someone else.
Actually, I take it back. She'd be in cowboy boots, not heels,
those
most
are
likely.
way harder to take off. Can't kick those off. But Crocodile Dundee grew up in 90-degree weather.
That's right. He's what is this?
Yeah.
What crikey? He wouldn't say crikey. He didn't say crikey. That was
Yeah.
Steve Irwin. I'm culturally appropriating from different Australians here. What's this? So I would assume, I would give in terms of mobility, actually cowboy boots are very slick. Mm-hmm, so unless she knew how to ice skate, they both would be at probably an equal disadvantage for that.
I would assume she's very good with cowboy boots.
That's true. But on ice...
And by the way, email 80srevisited@gmail.com. Give us your opinion of all of these fights, and we'll take a look at those.
Absolutely.
They could sway the fight if you raise a great point, which I think happened last time.
Yeah, we changed one of them. I think when John mentioned something, I have to go back and listen to it. But democracy works on this podcast. We are not like the United States of America. If you send an email and say, no, you forgot to take this in consideration.
Right.
If that's a good point, and we can't counter it, there's nothing we can think about, you literally could change the entire outcome of this battle.
Yeah.
So your voice will be heard if you chime in via any form of social media or email or whatever. Or hell, do a video response to it. I don't care. Just
awesome.
let us know.
And we can play that live on YouTube.
There you go. Bang, bang. So
balance, I think they're balanced on balance. However, I think Dundee's going to take an edge because of range accuracy.
I would agree. Now, Dolly's good with a ranged weapon, but not a throwing weapon. So Dundee has proven, I know, throwing rocks and other stuff with very, very good accuracy. Now, of course, the throwing star is the weapon of a ninja, not, an outback person. However,
he would adjust.
I think so.
And Dolly,
I think the weapon choice is what's going to do her in. I mean, it's not a full ice rink from what I remember from the movie, but it's, I guess kind of half of an ice rink.
Okay.
So, I mean, if somebody with good accuracy and strength could hit somebody,
right.
It's not like they're across like a basketball court slinging, throwing stars.
Now, there's also the possibility that they would both miss.
Of course,
then it
both
becomes
times.
a melee fight.
I think they would both definitely miss their first ones because, how do you do this?
Right.
But I'd have to give the edge to Mick Dundee in this one because I think he'd be like, oh, okay. He can handle boomerangs, slingshots, blow darts, knives, all sorts of stuff. So I think he would be able, based on his experience with more, pardon the term, but rudimentary weapons as opposed to, we've seen Dolly shoot a gun in 9 to 5 and lasso. But I think Mick would miss the first one as he gets the hang of okay, I need to throw it this way. And whether he hits her in the head and kills her instantly, or even if he just hits her, these are poison throwing stars.
Well, that brings up a great point. Could they both die?
They absolutely could. But we will, for the sake of argument, because I do have one arena in here that is both could die, but it ends when one person dies. But theoretically,
right. So if we're going for first kill, I think Crocodile Dundee has it. For
I
me.
would say so. Not to, because this is one you could. I think we could talk about a much longer.
Sure. Yeah.
But let's. I think I agree with that. I think unfortunately,
right,
my Halloween costume this year would go down not without a fight.
Right.
She would come close, but I think it comes down to the weapon choices. What screw? If it had been pistols or something, she might have got him.
Yeah.
But the randomizer, I would say, swayed the battle in Mick's favor. So,
you want to give a shout out for your cover?
Oh, I will at the end.
Okay.
If you
Eagle Eyes will be able to tell if you're watching this.
If you're watching it, you know who you are.
You know who you are.
You oughter know who you are.
Yeah. You'll get a shout out at the end.
Okay, round 2. Ooh, a horror battle.
Okay.
We have Colonel Rhodes from Day of the Dead, who unceremoniously got ripped in half, one of the greatest death scenes in horror film history or movie history, versus the murderer from My Bloody Valentine, Axel. Normally he has a gas mask and a pickaxe, but right now neither of them have anything. But they will be fighting.
What is your preference as to reshuffle or leave it out?
I'm just going to leave them out so we go through them all.
Out. Okay. Here we go.
So they will be fighting on a deserted road with occasional cars zooming by at 100 miles per hour.
Okay. We'll get the details about that in a second. Using Rambo knives.
Oh,
a little reference to our possible winner last time.
Could be the winner this time too, because we didn't do first blood on this one. Could be a repeat in a mirror match for the grand champion.
No.
But let's see. Rhodes, he's a military man.
Mm-hmm.
Axel is a miner in terms of mining, not that he's too young to, do things. The only randomness is the cars, but again, that's more for a flavor, for a flashy.
It could be about speed, though, at that point, like your ability to get away. What if there's a mid-grapple in the middle of the road?
Strength.
Who can break away
Axel
from
would
this?
have more, like in terms of like brawn, Axel swings a pickaxe all the time, so
right.
Rhodes is using weapons and just barking orders at people and being completely demeaning to women on top of that in Day of the Dead. So if they get to a physical altercation, well, they have the knives. So
they have the knives. So we can assume there's some distance.
We're talking an under siege knife fight here. And also,
how are they hearing? How's the hearing on both of these guys?
No, I would say let's establish this too, because this was going to come up.
Sure.
They appear as they appear in the movie. So Axel, without their weapons. So Rhodes not going to have his pistol.
Right.
He's going to have he had a knife in the movie. He'll have a knife, but his army fatigues. Axel would have his gas. He can have his gas mask on. Yeah. So that's their most, like when you look at as a character as a whole, that like their look. Like Mick Dundee wouldn't be, he'd have his hat on. He'd have that. He'd have his look. Dolly would be just like she was an office worker.
Right.
I mean, so there's you're not going to get too. You don't have to worry too much. Like how do they look in the movie? Like now, of course, a killer gets unmasked. We're not going to take that into consideration. Like how do they look for most of the movie? Basically, their IMDb picture of the character, or however you want to, or wiki picture of the character, however you want to think about it.
Just whatever's pictured in your mind.
And then also a lot of these, and I meant to say this sooner, but a lot of these environments, Jesse, were because me and Jesse both love the old video game Eternal Champions. Some of these levels, so to speak, are set up for environmental kills.
For example, this one.
Actually, when you step back, Crocodile Dundee hits Dolly with the. We always do like the fatality part.
Right.
I'd say he hits her with the throwing star, and then it's more just like she just falls over dead from the poison. Nothing too graphic for our girl Dolly because she's a national treasure.
Yeah.
She just quietly goes to sleep.
Yeah, the makeup,
a peaceful death,
unaffected.
Yeah. Looking like an angel, a porcelain angel on the ice.
Porcelain. Yeah.
So anyway, with this one. Like I said, there's these are some of these are going to be beef character fights,
right?
So,
and this may be one of them.
Now, if they get in, a knife is a more personal weapon,
sure.
In terms of you have to get close, and Axel would definitely have the brute strength, but we never see Rhodes use a martial weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So, on inclination, I would say Axel. Or they get into a knife fight, they get a little cut up. Axel gets his hands on him. Kind of thing like Infinity War or any movie where there's a knife fight, like pushing the knife into him, and then beep beep meow, hits Rhodes and smashes him across the windshield, and he just still has his beating heart on the knife in appropriate My Bloody Valentine fashion.
Right.
That's how I foresee it.
I could see that. I mean, yeah, the bigger guy's going to win in that fight.
Yeah, in a knife fight, the advantage would go to somebody who would have more strength. Now, of course, if Rhodes was Crocodile Dundee,
he could some sort of skill.
Throw the knife and hit him, and game over. Like he peels an apple, I think, with a knife. That's about it. Right. I can do that.
He has not shown his dexterity with a knife.
So I would go with the physical prowess of Axel is what I'm going to say. So
I agree
Rhodes
with that one.
Has another iconic horror death, getting splattered by a car and with his heart just spinning.
Yeah.
And then Axel takes it, puts it in his little Valentine thing, and mails it off to a victim. All right, next fight. Oh, wow.
What we got?
Okay. This is going to be fun. This is really going to, this is going to be simple or it's going to be difficult. It's going to be, never mind, I take it back, because they're all either going to be simple or difficult. So, we have the Goop from the Raft segment of Creepshow 2, basically the blob on water, versus Gibson Rickenbacker from Cyborg. So, Van Damme versus the Goop from Creepshow 2.
Okay, this seems pretty simple, but let's see what
it all determines where they're fighting. And they're fighting.
One of them comes with a weapon.
A non-sturdy rope bridge over crocodiles.
Whoa. Hold up. That could change things, in my mind.
Absolutely.
Half of a liquor bottle.
I'm just looking for the other parts of this bottle.
Okay, so rope bridge. We all have seen these in the movies. They are rickety. They are rotting.
Imagine Temple of Doom. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of iconic 80s locations. I was writing some of these to have some, keep it in the decade.
Sure.
So, honestly, the Goop just falls through the bridge.
Yeah, there are large gaps in all these bridges.
Yeah, it's not like it's it can't climb. It does reach up a bit, but it's not like the blob to where it's...
Sure.
So I just say Van Damme just does the splits on the rope and just sitting there. And it's just like...
It seems pretty clear the bottle's not even a factor.
Yeah, he shaves with her.
Yeah.
Or just throws it in there or something.
So when it falls in...
It would eat all the alligator crocodiles.
That's what I was going to say. It'd
so now, it's alive, but it's technically out of the... Ring out.
Ring out, okay.
So now it's a bridge.
For the future.
Now in this level, when it comes up... It's a bridge over the Raft Goop.
For your board gamers, this is a legacy game.
We just made it. So now, see, that's all. So this is what I'm talking about, with the randomness. Because if this in our old match, Van Damme wouldn't stand a chance. There'd be no way to stop it, to get him and eat him.
Of course. That would be really rough for him.
So that's why this randomness is really going to be the determining factor for a lot of these. So next one, okay. First, actually, I'm going to do it one at a time, so then I'm surprised too. And player one, Littlefoot.
Okay.
From The Land Before Time. Yeah. Versus...
Animated.
A cannibal from Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, it's just a cannibal.
So, hey, they killed turtles and other things and ate them alive in there. So it's a... Littlefoot's got to be careful.
Well, we see Littlefoot as a small thing, but in reality...
he'd be the size of a horse at least.
At least, yeah.
So, but they are fighting in the Thunderdome.
Ooh. Okay, that's a problem for Littlefoot. He's a little large, but he is armed with razor line frisbees.
So
that's not good for Littlefoot. He probably can't use that.
Nope.
So it's really a one-sided weapon. But is it enough to take down Littlefoot? Would a cannibal even use it? Or would he just go with the teeth?
He'd probably be like, huh?
Yeah.
Well, imagine Littlefoot would probably bite it, and then he'd have nice scars.
Yeah, he would.
He'd be like, oh! So and again, and for the sake of argument, the combatants aren't just like, what am I? What am I doing here? Ooh.
Yeah, they're ready to
they
fight.
know that they have to fight for their lives.
Yeah.
Now, of course, Littlefoot is a child.
True.
So, but
He'll probably say,
again,
I don't want to fight.
Let's keep in mind he's an animal. Well, humans are animals too.
Sure.
So he would obviously, they're gonna fight to survive. He's not just gonna be like, "Mama, tree star."
Well, Okay, so the cannibal pretty much is a human,
Right.
only identified by what he eats.
Correct.
So,
But very sad, like no humanity in terms, or civility is the
Right.
word I was trying to say. So I mean, the cannibal would actually be more animalistic
okay.
than Littlefoot because it would go, and it would just,
Attack it.
like
But would
a
it be
wild
enough?
ape, like a spider monkey.
So, I mean, okay, let's say someone like you, without the animalistic thing, could you kill a baby dinosaur?
With a razor line frisbee. Well, here's the biggest advantage. They're in the Thunderdome.
Right.
So,
And we're assuming there's a place to hold the frisbee.
I mean, Rowdy Abilene just, held it right and threw it correctly. So,
So no chainmail gloves or nothing.
yeah, right. I mean, you have to hold it, without
Okay.
the razor blade slicing your hand off.
That's rough.
But the Thunderdome, it's basically like a big playground
Oh, yeah,
cage.
yeah. I'm
So the
familiar.
cannibal could climb up it. Littlefoot would be like, huh? And it could just, get on his back, slit his throat, or attempt. We're talking a razor blade here, and none of us have seen a real dinosaur.
Sure.
But this will be a brutal battle,
Right.
Because it's sort of like it's like Rey Mysterio fighting the giant
Right.
in
Just
terms
wearing them
of can the quicker, faster opponent take down the tougher, bigger one. Because if Littlefoot
Right.
gets a good tail whip in or something, I mean, human's dick,
Luke versus an AT-AT.
basically. And Luke won.
Yeah.
So that's honestly, seriously, we need some viewer and listener help on this one,
Right.
Because I would be inclined to say I would say Littlefoot, but he's gonna look like a badass afterward. He's gonna be covered in blood, cut up. We do know that the scientists say that dinosaurs probably had thick skin.
Yeah.
So I mean, a razor blade, superficial wounds. The cannibal would have to
Cannibal hits once. Just.
that's all it
stomps
takes.
on. Yeah.
A stomp, a tail, or Littlefoot could fall on him.
Littlefoot still has his mouth too.
Yeah, and those
Granted, it
teeth
wasn't made for meat, but
they can grind.
it's something to control the cannibal. And what's on the walls of the Thunderdome?
There are other weapons, but for the sake of argument, we're gonna, I didn't think about that when I made the weapon cards. I should have made a card, or the Thunderdome should be
Any
maybe.
spikes on the wall?
No, they had the bungee. No, they were tied to the bungee cords.
Oh, okay.
So they.
That's right, yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it,
Now, would they be tied to the bungee cords?
Littlefoot would be so heavy that he would just
He would
be
just
on the
be standing
ground.
there.
With
Yeah.
so Cannibal has mobility, but again, Cannibal's jumping at Littlefoot.
All right.
Tail. I'm gonna give it to Littlefoot.
Yeah.
So I would place, my bet would be that he would get one hit in that would.
I'm leaning towards Littlefoot, assuming the thick skin would be enough to protect him against Razor Frisbee.
I think so. I mean, again, it's a razor blade.
Yeah.
And it's half of a razor blade because they're like that. A typical razor blade, half of it's mounted in the frisbee.
Right.
Now, this razor blade was sharp enough to decapitate a human being when it was thrown. So it is pretty sharp, but nevertheless, now if this was Rowdy Abilene against Littlefoot, he would throw it. It would slit Littlefoot's
Someone
throat.
skilled with it, yeah.
Yeah, that's his weapon, not de plume. I'm not sure what the
choice.
whatever, like the French version of nom de plume, whatever.
Right, right.
I'm trying to. I know it.
I think that's an
heard
award for the Cannes Film Festival.
I think
isn't
so.
it?
I don't know.
That's
if
his
Ronald was here, we
weapon
could
of
ask
awards.
him. I'm going to say Littlefoot
All right. I'm down for that.
because I
Write it in 80s Revisited at gmail.com.
No, and again, he looks like he is no longer.
Oh,
he is
yeah.
now like teen foot. He is no
He
longer
doesn't trust
Littlefoot.
humans for sure.
He's like
He thinks they're all cannibals.
he has changed from this
You sick
experience.
fucks.
All right, let me see. So next battle, Flash Gordon
Oh,
from Flash Gordon
tough to beat.
versus Terran, the hero of the Black Cauldron.
Oh, wow. This seems pretty one-sided, but let's see.
Let's see. They're fighting in a room where the ceiling is getting lower and lower until someone dies. This is the one I was
size
telling you
advantage.
about.
But
And they have
they could be using syringes with reanimator fluid in them.
okay.
Okay.
Here's the problem. When they're reanimated, they're alive.
When they're reanimated, they're
So
alive.
the room would be like, "Oh, you killed them." No, if you kill him with a syringe.
Right.
If they stab somebody with the syringe and inject them,
Uh-huh.
that person is then going to reanimate, and This is
Basically, they have 2 lives.
this is the worst combination to get for this one because like I said, the room's and then when someone dies, it's going to stop.
It's going to stop. Okay.
But then if they reanimate,
so would it start back up, or would it be?
I don't know. This is a question that's ridiculous.
Or would it be the reanimated version versus the other one till the death versus the live version?
I'm trying to remember in Reanimator if like blood is pumping. God, this is a stupid combination for the randomization
because
2 out of 3
match, except on your second life you're reanimated, unless the fight doesn't last till the room is smashed, which I guess it would. How big is this room?
Again, my inspiration was Temple of Doom, that room where they go in. So like a regular a master bedroom.
Okay.
So you
Say
can't get
12
away.
by 12 or so.
Yeah.
Or 20 by 20, depending on how your master bedroom is.
It's just the logistics of the room and the syringe now are like, it's the worst. I'm just like...
Who gets the first stab in?
Flash.
Flash, for sure.
I mean, Taron was he was the young hero, the hero's journey. He was the young, he has no experience.
He's not...
Flash didn't either, but I mean, Flash is all-star quarterback, and I mean... they have similar heroic journeys in their movies, but Flash is like it'd be like me fighting Brock Lesnar.
Right.
It's not in the cards, baby. I'd have to get him, dodge him, not touch me, and get him with the syringe. But then I have to fight an undead Brock Lesnar. Which is work. Now the room stops, and I technically win, I guess. But then he'd have to be teleported away to the loser bracket. There isn't a loser bracket. It's the dead bracket. God, this one's tough. Just with the randomization.
Made me think of a picture of Brock Lesnar I saw today. Could you win against this Brock Lesnar?
Hipster Brock Lesnar.
Hipster Brock Lesnar. Right there.
No. That sure will be off in 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
And see, Flash isn't cocky. Like if you, in the movie, he's very like, okay, what's happening here? I gotta, whoa, stop, guys. We gotta, he's, and well, again, they know I'm going to die. Now, if I open the door and there's Flash Gordon, I'm like, fuck.
They've both been briefed. They know what the deal is.
Yeah. Flash is going to win, but the question is, does he win?
What are the advantages given as reanimated?
You're just a zombie, so you could rip an arm off. So
strength is the same and everything. Mm-hmm. Well, then Flash wins twice.
But does Flash get stabbed with?
Would he get stabbed? No, probably not.
Nah, I think
he'd take him down first.
I think he'd be taken down pretty quick.
His fluid. He knows what's going to happen. Yeah. Maybe I would assume he would.
Yeah, they've
been briefed on the fight.
They know they have to. They know they have to kill the other person or they die. So, and there are no heroics in this either. People, it's just like of course, Flashback. We can work our way out of this. Sure, that's what the character would do, but they know they have to fight. There's no we choose not to fight, and they both get zapped by some unseen alien force because they refuse to fight.
Stick their syringes in the gears.
Yes, or they just stab each of themselves with. Yeah, exactly. They stop it. But then, so
maybe if we both stab ourselves, let it smash us, and then we'll come back flattened.
Yeah, a lifetime of exceptional pain. So I'll give it. I think without putting too much heavy thought into it, Flash takes it without getting pricked.
Yep.
So,
but we want to hear from you.
Let us know again if you have a reasonable scenario that we're skipping because we're overthinking it or not. Occam's razor. Yeah. Look it up if you know what that means.
Or
watch an episode of House.
Know if we nailed it.
There you go. Exactly. Ooh, the next fight, Beetlejuice.
Don't say it
versus
2 more times.
Wyatt and Gary from Weird Science.
Ooh, a team. Tag team. They're using, and Beetlejuice, Freddy gloves.
Appropriate. And they are fighting in a mine about to collapse. So,
yeah. Things are going bad.
Random debris. Again, this is background stuff. This isn't like...
These are the 2 lead kids from Weird Science.
Yeah, which are completely inept at anything physical. Beetlejuice can... Now...
I think the science experiment has a better shot.
Yeah. If it was Lisa versus Beetlejuice, I would say they both have their powers, and that would be a movie I would pay to see. But again, Beetlejuice doesn't have it. He can't turn into a worm or a lamppost, but he has got a Freddy glove.
And he's got his wild personality.
Yeah, and he knows how to fucking Well, he knows how to fuck.
Right.
Because here he comes, baby. And he knows how to fuck with people. So
The kids have dumb luck. But how far would that take you in a fight?
with Beetlejuice,
He'll probably kill both. Yeah, he'll definitely kill both of them.
he might have a scratch on him, but this is not competition to Beetlejuice.
He'll stab one through the skull and then get stabbed in the back for a second. And then he'll make some quip.
I imagine just going to run and hide, and he's just going to, Wyatt's going to be like, no, Gary, no.
No,
he's going to throw like, hey, Wyatt, it's okay, buddy, I'm okay.
Come here.
And he turns around, it's Gary's head, like, with Beetlejuice hand, like, hey, come on, let's go. Give me a kiss. Something like that. So Beetlejuice,
Yeah,
I think that's
that
an
one's
easy
pretty
one.
clear, yeah.
Thank God.
Versus teenage children.
Yeah. All right, next fight. Prince Akeem from Coming to America
Okay.
versus Ben Richards from The Running Man.
Oh,
Schwarzenegger versus
no.
Murphy. So already we kind of know who's going to win.
Sure.
But they are fighting in front of the supercomputer from Superman 3.
What was that arena like?
I mean, it's just open. I mean,
Open?
the supercomputer will...
It will not interfere?
I mean, again, it's an environment kill a la Eternal Champion. So, like, in terms of the finisher, it comes into play.
Okay.
But they will have...
Lead pipes. Pretty clear.
Ben Richards beats the shit out of Prince Akeem.
Like, yeah, there's a weapon advantage for him, too. It's the most basic thing he can get his hands on. And...
Yeah, I mean, Ben Richards killed all the...
Yeah.
Not Terminators, but the what were they? Gladiators.
I mean, did he ever show any fighting prowess? And
I know he did like something with the mugger and he fought with something. I haven't seen that in so long, but not, but it's Ben Richards. I mean, he killed people with his bare hands.
I know.
With he's the MacGyver of murder.
What weapon would it take?
Eddie Murphy would need a machine gun, and Ben Richards would need to be 100 yards away.
But they would both have machine guns at that point.
Oh, that's true.
But if he would have made it to round 2, he could have had 2 different weapons.
Maybe. So, yeah. Now, for some flavor, Ben Richards beats the shit out of Eddie Murphy. He's all bloodied. The supercomputer comes alive and sucks Eddie Murphy into it, turning him into Robo Akeem.
Uh-huh.
Robo Akeem walks out. Ben Richards like, what the hell are you? And then just beats the shit out of him again with the pipe.
Both times.
Twice. That's what
Another double death.
I would say. Yeah, that ain't. And again, this is all random.
Sure.
If you want to blame the seeding, you can blame Bill Gates or whoever programmed Microsoft Excel.
Yeah.
Because that's
It
how I
would
did
have been
it.
a pain in the butt to write it on a bunch of cards.
Well, last time, I think I just did it down the row, or I went online and I typed them in on some online randomizer.
Right.
So I typed them in and then it randomized it. But when I was like, because I was keeping track of them through Excel. This is a boring story. But then I was like, I bet there's got to be a way to randomize cells. I mean, you can sort them any other way, so there has to be a way to randomize them. Sure enough, there was. Randomize the cells. Bam, bam, bam.
Nice.
And that leads us to here.
Welcome to Microsoft Excel with your host.
And today we're going to talk about formulas. Oh, Roy, the murderer, the foe Jason from Friday the 13th Part 5, or V, The New Beginning, versus Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors.
In what stage?
The Santa picture location from the mall from A Christmas Story.
Okay, but also what stage of growth?
Oh, human size. Not the end, that kind of the medium Audrey to where she, she can use her, she obviously has her 2 hands, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But not the...
she's not taking up the entire
She's not the
room.
world eater yet.
Okay.
That they become in the director's cut.
But they will both have Nintendo Power Gloves.
Yeah.
Which doesn't help Audrey
Roy.
for sure.
It doesn't help
Or
Roy either. Now, if Roy had his knife or machete, it'd be a good fight.
It's a funny way of saying it's a melee fight.
Basically. Because I was that's a wizard reference from the 80s movie.
For sure.
Which we haven't covered yet. But anyway, so...
Which also had dinosaurs in it.
That's true. In Mario 3.
Well, I was going to say they go to the park.
Yeah.
It's one of the few that I've seen.
Drive-in or something. I'm trying to remember.
The dinosaur park.
Yeah, but they went somewhere. There was some of the... Anyway, we talk about that movie. We'll talk about that. So Roy versus Audrey 2.
So what would Roy do?
He would just, I guess, try to go strangle Audrey or something. He's got the power glove, so it'd be that
But the
scene
thing
where
is, that head is just going to be floating above, just chomping at his head.
I mean, again, Roy he's an ambulance driver. He's a psych. He has no special power. Although he's tough.
Yeah.
He's pretty tough. But I mean, Audrey doesn't have hands.
Audrey's hungry too.
Yeah, need blood. Feed me. Yeah.
I don't think Roy would be smart enough to go for the head.
I think he would go for the head, but that would be his mistake.
Well, he would go for the strangle, right?
Or he
On
would
the
just,
stem?
I mean, again, the problem is they just got power gloves.
Right.
So he's going to be like, what the hell? And he's going to, it's
He's going to be trying to push the button.
like, and he starts jumping. He just, of course, they don't work.
Don't work like that.
It's just another way. It's like you were saying, a useless. No, there is a cord attached to it when a person-on-person fight might come into play. But I mean, Audrey too has basically vines for hands, so she gets a hold of Roy. It's over.
I think it is too.
He's not going to be able to do anything based on the weapon choice. Now, I promise you, there are weapons in there that had it come up.
Like a flamethrower or something like that.
Flamethrowers are in there. Yeah. I'm just saying. Because I also thought about when I made it up, when I was writing them, I knew there were some characters that obviously would have an advantage. Mm-hmm. So I threw a weapon in there in case the randomization works for or in favor.
That would totally work for any character versus Audrey 2 if they had a flamethrower.
Even if Audrey had it, because
it could be the two kids from Weird Science would have taken down Audrey 2.
It probably would have been the one kid left after that. I would just in the course of the fight, but I'd say Audrey gets her vines on Roy and just
That's right.
Game
because he doesn't have his trusty weapons. He only has the power glove.
That's right. So let's see. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fights in.
Write that down somewhere. Should write down the 7 next to Audrey too.
Just
so you remember.
Yep. Good call. Next we have Kurt Sloan, Van Damme from Kickboxer, versus
we saw earlier.
Tootsie.
Oh no!
So
all right, we need a weapon here that can help Tootsie. And
they're fighting in a floor in the floor shop with Audrey 2 in the background.
Oh, she just ate someone.
So immediately after this fight,
right,
Van Damme slides in doing a split.
The next match begins,
and then Tootsie like, oh, I'm looking for the camera here. Oh, I got to read my part. That was my Tootsie impression.
Toast, but let's find out how she will die, or will we both be surprised? Will we all be surprised? We will not be surprised. 20-pound pickaxes.
Oh, I can't even lift this thing. This thing is heavy.
She'll be trying to lift it. Van Damme probably won't even go for it. He'll just fly and kick her in the face.
He'll be like, ha! And do that, the triple.
All right.
Triple shot kick. Yeah, easy.
I mean, what defenses does she have? Nothing.
I mean, literally just a out-of-work actor versus a martial artist in a death match.
Out-of-work actor with poor balance and
a very restrictive dress. So
dress.
Can't do anything. Tootsie, like you said it best. Tootsie is toast.
Yeah.
Van Damme kicks her, goes into the background, Cinekill. Audrey eats again. More blood. Yeah. And then, it grows even bigger. And Van Damme's like, oh, shit. So I hope they fight in another match.
Next round, she will be bigger.
That's right.
She just ate 2.
I'll put 2 kills.
Just think if she ate the kids from Weird Science, that'd be 3. But no, she just ate 2.
So she's a little bit bigger. We keep it real on here.
Yeah.
All right, next fight. Starman.
Okay.
Versus Pumpkinhead. Interesting fight, sci-fi versus horror. Now, of course, Starman doesn't have all his powers. Pumpkinhead is just his big, little creepy-ass self. But they are fighting in the booby-trapped house from Home Alone. I know it's not an 80s movie, but I thought it'd be a hilarious discussion.
It was filmed in the 80s.
That's true. Came out in 90.
All right. Okay. Interesting. Freeze rays.
That was the anti-blob weapon.
Was it really? Well, we have a sci-fi character here who may know something about freeze rays.
So Starman, of course, is an alien in human form, as one of the greatest actors of our time, Jeff Bridges. Pumpkinhead is a creation of Stan Winston. Much larger. Pumpkinhead's about maybe 7-8 feet tall.
Yeah.
Not very quick, although he does get around quick, but when he moves on camera, he does not move very fast. They have freeze rays. I want to say...
The house probably has 12-foot ceilings, though. That was a Nice house. 12 or 14 foot.
Yeah, so there's a lot of space.
But doorways would be his disadvantage.
You have to,
Right.
huh? So Starman would be like,
That
Jenny
would be his
Hayden?
prime time to take a shot.
So now, okay, well, Freeze Ray, these are Mr. Freeze Rays to where it's wow, 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 you're frozen.
Yeah, pretty
It's
quick.
not like, video game freeze weapons where like, ding, now I'm frozen.
Right.
Where you make an enemy slow, and then they're frozen. This is you get hit, you're like,
Now it's freeze death.
no, because we got to have some flavor in here. Now, Pumpkinhead would probably not know he used a shotgun in the movie, so he would know it's a gun of some sort.
Right.
So
So he's knowledgeable of the weapon.
He would know to point and shoot.
Right.
Is what I'm saying. Starman is an alien, so this would probably a Mark 14 freeze ray.
Right. There's possibility that he brought these freeze rays.
It very could be based on, they don't say the race of his being, I don't believe, if I remember
It's
correctly.
like a military duel. He provided the weapons because he was challenged by Pumpkinhead.
Yeah, so then, again, like you said, this is a nice house where it's very ornate. There's places to hide. Pumpkinhead is not, he's not the boogeyman. He's not Michael Myers popping out from nowhere, or Starman looks
It's
away
a
and he looks
well-lit
back.
house.
Yeah,
There are cutouts having a party.
there are ornaments on the floor.
That's true.
Now,
Feather fan.
Now, Starman is clothed with shoes on for most of the movie, so we'll go with that. Not him naked in the beginning where he appears.
Okay.
So
Come on, man.
that's only fair. So now of course stepping on ornaments wouldn't hurt Pumpkinhead. He'd be like, it'd be small.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter to him, so that wouldn't be a thing. But
So assuming they start in different rooms.
it's a big house.
Yeah.
So Starman.
So it's whoever gets this. Who's more quiet?
Starman, Pumpkinhead, like.
Okay.
No, hold on, take it back, because in the typical horror movie.
Right, I was going to say.
Did we lose him? Where is he? All of a sudden, lightning strikes. Ah!
So he has a horror advantage of stealth.
But he cannot attack a main character with a one-hit kill based on horror movie tropes, because he has to grab a damsel in distress or an ancillary character first. Mm-hmm. So then you're aware of their presence to where the main character doesn't like, oh God, and then does it. So he couldn't just shoot Jeff Bridges.
Right.
You know.
So he grabs the boy, Macaulay Culkin.
The boy,
Because he's home. He has to be.
he's home alone. He's
Yeah.
swinging paint cans. Jeff
Sorry to
Bridges
get you involved.
stop throwing earth things at me.
So he's got Kevin McAllister.
And maybe freezes him.
I think he's going down because of not only horror tropes, but all the other reasons too.
Yeah. Starman would be like, no!
Yeah.
And then hit Pumpkinhead while he's holding Macaulay, like, oh, thank you. But then Pumpkinhead falls down the stairs, shatters, snapping Kevin
Or
McAllister's
just
neck.
the contact freezes the boy too.
Say, yeah, it goes like, and then
The paint kid just shatters his head.
and then as Starman walks out, he slips on some micro machines. But he's still okay. It's just
And
that's
it's
for
a mystery
comedic
as to
effect.
who threw the paint can.
It's the backswing.
It's the best.
It's swing. Who knows? But that's what happens. I'm
Yeah.
totally for that.
Okay. Starman wins.
Okay.
Freeze race.
Next. Everything's coming up like a match before. The Blob
Okay.
versus
Freeze race. Oh, well, you could have 2 blob fights.
Tango and Cash.
Tango and Cash, another 3-way fight. Well, tag
Now,
team
now
versus
what?
a solo.
Because
Handicap match.
because they're fighting the Blob. We'll say the Blob is a pretty good. It's not the little bitty. It's the
Right.
size enough to where it could kill them
Size
if
of
it
a
gets a
car.
hold of them. Yeah. Now I did have on here that because in the movie Tango and Cash do paper rock scissors, who does something. So that was kind of the if it would have been another human or one-on-one, they
Right.
would have done the paper rock scissors, and that person would go fight for him. Of course, we would have the other person join in later because
Yeah.
that's what would happen in the movie.
Sure.
So it's the Blob versus Tango and Cash, and they are fighting in Tokyo while it's being attacked by Godzilla.
Interesting.
Now,
Okay.
this will determine everything.
Oh. Lightsabers. Could you imagine watching this, though? You see the blob, Tango and Cash just bzz, light up. Like, what the hell am I watching?
No, but then first
And then
you see all the people running. Oh, it's Godzilla. Like, oh, what is this? And holy shit, it's Kurt Russell.
Right.
Stallone, what the fuck? And then the Blob. But then, Tango, Cash, and then the Blob. Then you're just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
And then Godzilla turns his head, and then you see that wide shot of the city with a little portion of a lightsaber battle going on. All the buildings are lighting up blue and red.
John Williams score.
And you see like the lights, like reflection in Godzilla's eyes as he's watching the
He
battle.
just stops the...
Yeah. So what factor would Godzilla have in this?
I mean, again, it's just back, like, the fatality, had it been two human characters, the fatality would be...
But even the fatality in this case, it may not affect in this case, but if it was like something that would be sensitive to light, for example, like Mothra.
Yeah. I saw a great meme the other day. Speaking of Mothra, it was a scene from King Kong versus Godzilla, where Godzilla's on the ground and King Kong's sitting over him with a rock. And it goes to Godzilla. The meme has King Kong over him with the rock. The next thing is Godzilla, and it has "Save Mothra." It's a Batman versus Superman reference. If you don't get it. But as far here's now,
why'd you say that?
It's so dumb. I can watch that movie and just like, wait,
what?
What? Dumb.
It's like one of those ideas that were up on the dry erase board, and they're like, never in a million years. And they took it off and threw it in the trash, and somebody thought that was the real one. It's like, that's the idea they chose for the end of the movie.
Well, they have a rule like when we erase it, we don't put it back on the board.
Right.
Let's erase that, and then somebody's like cross-eyed and erases the good idea above it. Like, oh shit, whiteboard rules, we can't put it back.
I thought you said erase all of them but
that one. Well, we got to base the movie on this one line, so let's work it in. But anyway,
no more brainstorming.
Now, this fight would be absolutely ridiculous and amazing.
Sure. Because there's chunks of blob going everywhere.
But here's the problem. A lightsaber is useless against the blob. And I'll tell you why. Because you would cut him into pieces.
Sure.
But just much like the Thing last fight,
right? You
would have to freeze or burn the total part because the blob,
lightsabers do burn.
I mean, it wouldn't. He's not flammable. Like, I mean, imagine like a Jello. If you had a knife and you're cutting Jello. I mean, you're not necessarily killing the Jello, or I mean, you're just cutting the big thing into smaller pieces. Sure. And the blob started as a golf ball sized little thing,
right?
And just it grows from there.
Well, let's say you put Jello over a fire. Would that destroy it?
Yes.
Okay. So at what point do the lightsabers become a direct flame? Because they've cut doors down with this stuff.
No, the blob is, he's sentient. So, I mean, it's moving, it's jumping, it's much like the raft and, the goop in the lake from Creepshow 2. So, but the thing is, even, the blob has his own lightsaber. So obviously there's a part of it.
That does have the mobility to swing it, though.
I mean, wildly. It wouldn't be, the blob would not be actually, it would just be like in it, like,
I imagine it would just be not even lit up, just soaking
like it would cut
it.
on parts of itself up.
That's true. So, that's a thing. Lightsaber, if it's any sort of in it, it's boiling whatever's right there.
That's a good point.
So, would it die from its own lightsaber?
That's a really good point.
It would probably be injured. I don't know.
That would hurt it. I mean, that would for sure hurt it.
Because it'd be standing. I mean, eventually you get to the point where it just sinks to the bottom and it's just standing on top of it.
Because, now based on the movie, they freeze it. That's how they kill it. And they bring it to Antarctica, except for the one guy who keeps a piece of it. I don't remember it being burned in the movie. I mean, I think they used it to keep it away. I mean, hypothetically, it's a living thing, so... Yeah, a flamethrower would, I would assume make it like I don't want to get burned.
Right.
But like you said, a lightsaber is basically like it's a molten laser beam.
Right.
Like you said, the blob. You're right. The blob wouldn't be wielding it. It would basically just suck it in.
Like, here you go.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like the
referee would give it to him.
Tango and Cash are just like, and the blob just like.
So they see that. They throw their lightsabers into it. With 3 lightsabers, melt a blob. 80s Revisit at gmail.com.
Now, of course, this is complete speculation, obviously, and for fun.
Sure.
I think that's the way to go. Now, of course, again, if this was Deadliest Warrior, an old show from the early 2000s that isn't even on the air anymore, and most people might not even watch or remembered, but it had Faramir. It sounded like he'd always do the announcing, like, "Who is deadliest?"
Right.
So, and they would run a computer simulation.
This is the computer simulation
that they later got sued on because the dude on the show didn't actually make it and stole it from somebody or something. There was some fuss over it, whatever. It was a big show for a while on Spike TV. But anyway, so you could run this, you can run it 100 different ways, so to speak. Because my initial thought was lightsaber doesn't do nothing against the blob because you cut off a piece of it. One little drop gets on you, it's going to start eating you, and you can't get it off.
Sure.
It's much like the Thing. If it gets on you, you're done. But
the arena is a city.
Yeah. So they can.
So they have distance.
Yeah.
Do they have the intelligence to win?
Stallone would, or which one was he? Was he Cash? I haven't seen it in so long. Pardon my ignorance. I think he was Cash. No, he was Tango. I can't. I don't remember.
I don't have the research tools up today.
But he was, of course, he was the smart one. So like, throw your laser sword in the Thing. It's eating it, it's burning it alive.
Yeah, because that's the question. Would somebody realize that?
I think Stallone would, because he was kind of the brains of the operation.
Raymond Tango.
So Tango would he's a smart one. And Cash was like, are you crazy? I'm not getting rid of this. You just do it, do it, damn it, see? And he throws his. And,
now, would the blob fight for survival?
Well, I mean, now, it's, okay, they see it happening as the blob's looking for him in the city. Because, you have the buddy moment, like, we're behind the car, like, what the hell is that thing? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I don't have any guns. We got these crazy science fiction things.
And that giant lizard's there.
And what the hell is that?
Yeah. Now, we did say he's attacking the city.
I mean, so you would,
That's another factor, though.
Tremors. I mean, you have all sort,
the human factor of being crushed by a building where the blob can't be.
Or, as they're watching the blob, they see, like, people run by and the blob, like, grabs them. Like, we can't go near that thing. We gotta stay away. It has a sword, too. It's, it's out, they obviously.
It's just sizzling the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, like, throw your sword in there. And then I think I think you pretty much hit it on the head. I didn't even think about that. I mean, so I think, and then eventually
I'm just trying to think of a way they could survive.
And they just sitting there, and then the blob just,
How fast is the blob?
It does get fast where it's keeping up with people running, but I mean, people outrun it. There's that scene.
So the blob, do you think it would move away from the lightsabers?
Well, the question.
The moment it does, though.
I mean, I don't remember it spitting things out. Theoretic, but I mean, it's burnt. It's like if I swallowed a molten thing of nickel. Well, I'm a human being. I'm not a blob.
Is that right?
Yes. I've been discovered in my alien form. But I mean, it's burning it. So, like, if it would have to, it's kind of like that thing, like an arrow, so to speak. You have to push it through to get it out, but it would have to burn it through itself.
Right.
And if they just keep, it's going to stay away from it. Once it again, it's not a stupid creature.
Sure.
So, I mean, they could, again, if it touches them, it gets them, they're dead. There's no wiggle room. The blob, if the blob touches you, you die. Because and it's painful.
If the fight never ends, the blob might have it just from longevity.
But I think,
the humans got to eat sometime.
If this was a movie, I mean, again, this isn't a movie, but in our heads, if this wasn't, this is the 80s. If this was an 80s movie, Tango and Cash would win because they would spit them, they would get like, oh, it's working, it's dying.
They'd figure
out. And then it spits it out or something. We got to get those things back inside it before it eats more people.
And it might set up a sequel.
There you go.
But they would win the day.
And eventually the blob's weak, and then all of a sudden, atomic breath disintegrates the blob. Tango and Cash.
That's true.
Tango and Cash. The Godzilla is watching and sees.
Yeah, because sees what he needs to do. Because Godzilla is a good guy.
That's right.
In most tellings of the story.
Pretty much aside from the first film, for the most part. Now, I don't remember every single 27, 28 Godzilla films, but for the most part, he's, most 90% of the adaptations, he is the hero. Yeah. But now, here's the thing. In one of the 100 simulations, Godzilla steps on the blob, the blob absorbs Godzilla, and the world is dead.
Yeah.
But they're not fighting Godzilla, that's not a consideration. So I think in terms of an 80s fashion,
right?
If this was something that was...
The unlikely heroes win.
Yeah.
If they weren't given lightsabers, who knows?
If it would have been bullets or something, I think, again, the randomization, that's going to turn the table. Because when I was putting this on, I was like, what's going to beat the blob? So
freeze, right?
That's why I was like,
It'd be
freeze
no
away.
fight then.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be over. If somebody gets
The
lucky.
odds of pulling that card is pretty slim.
Yeah, 1 in 25, whatever those odds are.
But another sci-fi weapon wins.
Yeah, so I think let's go with that. I like it.
Yep.
That is still would be an amazing movie. I would pay to I need to build a time machine. Well, I need to win the lottery, make enough off the lottery to build a time machine that works. Go back in time with enough money to then make said movie.
Yeah.
And then change the world for the better. If that movie existed. So the next fight, Richie Valens versus
he's dead.
Chris Knight from Real Genius.
Oh, maybe.
So Val Kilmer from Real Genius.
Yeah.
And they are fighting
versus a musician
in a health club with toxic waste out on the second floor of a health club with toxic waste outside. Toxic Avenger.
Okay.
So there's
how much toxic waste is outside?
Well, if I remember correctly in the movie, there's just a couple of barrels.
Just a couple of barrels.
But if you go out the window, you're going to fall in the barrel of toxic waste. No matter how you go out the window, that barrel is perfectly positioned to take you out.
So first one out the window loses.
Pretty much.
But if it comes to that, using Nerf guns. Once again, the power glove.
Again, that's just a throwaway.
Sure. Yeah. It's a melee fight.
Hell? So now,
musician versus geek scientist.
Now we're talking. It's Val Kilmer.
Sure.
Versus Lou Diamond Phillips.
Right.
For this isn't the real Richie Valens. Right. Now, Richie Valens was a 19-year-old little kid. Now in Real Genius, he was actually they're probably about the same age.
Yeah.
Now neither of them are obviously brawlers.
But who grew up amongst brawlers more?
Richie Valens.
Absolutely.
However, that's definitely a thing in his favor. However, Chris Knight is a genius to where I would have...
Would he have studied any sort of martial arts?
Well, Sherlock Holmes didn't in those Robert Downey Jr. movies, and it was just like, solar plexus. I could hit him here, causing this chain reaction.
He also worked out a bunch.
That's true. Sure. He did, because he was shirtless for half the movie, if I remember correctly. So, yeah, that's a...
It's going to be a melee fight on the second floor of a health club. So they can't grab other things there, I guess. Because it'd be weights and stuff.
Theoretically, we can work that in, but the weapon that they have is...
I just think Val Kilmer's character has no fighting skills.
Because Richie's brother was a thug.
Yeah, Richie Valens.
Thug in a non-racial term. I'm referencing the Thuggee cult from India, in which the term is derived.
Right.
Where they were marauders and basically rob people on the roads. That's what I'm talking about. His brother was a criminal.
All right.
Okay? I'm just making sure that's abundantly clear that I use the term in the correct phrasing.
Yes. I hope the hard P's aren't happening. We don't put windscreens on. Donate to our cause and we can afford some windscreens.
So, if your brother's a ne'er-do-well, so to speak, you obviously would learn a couple of things because you had a brother, didn't you? No. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did. Yeah, so brothers fight, you pick up a few things. Chris Knight's literally a dork.
Yeah.
In the 80s terminology of dork.
Yeah.
So, Richie would probably know a few moves to get the handle on him and send him out the window into a barrel of toxic waste.
The only chance he would have is outsmart him in some way, like verbally. Does he have the skills to do that?
No, probably because they know they have to kill each other.
Yeah, that's true.
No.
Richie takes it then.
I think so.
Unless he alters the Nerf gun somehow.
If he had time to
to work it out. But he has no time.
This is a...
Yeah.
Nah. All right, moving on.
He's done.
The Humongous from The Road Warrior versus our third Van Damme entry, Frank Dux from Bloodsport.
Okay.
I would pay to see this death match. But however, they are fighting in...
The dancing Van Damme.
A deserted street with approaching zombies.
Impending doom. Weapons? Boobs.
I just have something completely random. So they both have breasts.
Well, it's Dolly Parton's weapon.
Yeah, weapon of choice. So they both have boobs. They literally have boobs. They just grow, very voluptuous breasts.
Throw up some balance for some people.
Now, the Humongous, of course, he's a brawler, big, got the hockey mask. Big.
It probably won't affect him that much, the boobs. Van Damme's a small frame.
Yeah. It would make him top heavy because he's got those bird legs.
We're assuming it's boobs. Dolly Parton was mentioned earlier. Let's assume Dolly Parton boobs.
Yeah. I don't think that makes a big difference.
Disadvantage to Van Damme for sure, but maybe not that big.
But also, I mean, we're talking Bloodsport Van Damme here, which is completely fictitious. Real Frank Dux was a liar, or Dukes, excuse me. This is the character that got blinded and blocked every attack and beat Goro basically. Actually, Shang Tsung, 'cause he was the last boss, for a more correct analogy. Again, Humongous has got the strength for sure.
He doesn't have the speed,
but nor the fighting, nor the martial skill in terms of, because of course Van Damme split, punch to the nuts,
and they're just on the street.
Yeah. Now, zombies are approaching, so the fatality would be the zombies grab him in the end, whoever's beating him unconscious. Now, the Humongous does have the mask, so that would protect his face from hits, but, I mean,
he's going for face shots.
No, he's going to go to take him down, break the leg, break the leg. I think
he's a fighter. The fighter wins.
Exactly. It's basically...
But he has boobs for the rest of the...
Yeah. Frank Dukes with boobs.
That could be a factor later.
It very well could be. You never know.
Completely random.
So moving on, we have Beck, which is Peter Weller's character from Leviathan. And he will be fighting Veronica Sawyer from Heathers. Winona Ryder from Heathers. And they will be fighting in the pit stage from Mortal Kombat. So they're literally on a stone bridge over spikes.
So whoever gets the uppercut.
Pretty much.
But they'll be using... candlesticks.
It's from Clue, by the way. Same with the lead pipes.
Yeah,
just saying, if you always wonder, what's the lead pipe in there? What's a candlestick in there?
They are murder weapons.
Yes. I mean,
So these are heavy candlesticks.
Yeah.
Not something to be just tossed aside like the Power Glove.
Veronica Sawyer, as lovely as she is and conniving and evil as she kind of becomes, she's just a high school student.
She is.
Beck is an underwater adventurer captain, fights the Leviathan and wins, basically against a high school girl.
He's useful above ground?
Yeah.
This is way above ground.
I mean, they're in Leviathan. They do it's underwater, but again, they're fighting in the station and that kind of stuff. So he's fought monsters. I think he could handle
a high school
because she's good at croquet.
Right.
I don't see how that comes into play.
He's not one that. I'm less familiar with this character, so he's not one that always tries to flirt with women or anything like that.
He's the male lead, so he's like the hey, leave her alone.
Oh, okay.
Howard Stern. Daniel Stern was the one in that film that was more so the raunchy, telling dirty jokes.
Well, then it's pretty clear he has to do what he must for the sake of the crew.
And Veronica Sawyer gets candlestick
into the pit. But he probably feels bad about it.
Yeah, he didn't want to do it, but
So is he depressed in the next match? No, probably not.
Nah.
Military duty.
Yeah.
All right.
So moving right along, the Tar Man, the zombie from Return of the Living Dead, versus Reggie Belmont, the lead character, lead femme fatale from Night of the Comet. So she has some experience fighting zombies. However, they are in hell.
Oh.
Now, to be clear, to keep it themed for the films we covered, it's the Hellraiser version of hell. So it's very blue. There's no fire. It's very
just cold.
Cold. A lot of blank concrete everywhere.
Cold and lonely. All right. They're using whips that can latch to anything. It has a note. You don't remember what it says?
Matching fedoras.
Matching fedoras. Oh, okay.
Indiana Jones.
Or larson.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was.
Yeah. We'll keep going with the Eternal. It was meant to be Indiana Jones.
Grappling hook.
We'll go with
pretty close.
We'll go with the Eternal Champions vibe for sure. I like that way better. If you haven't played Eternal Champions, I think of the Sega Genesis Mini. I think it's actually on there.
Oh wow!
Which, if it would have had the Sega CD version, I'd have bought that thing just for that.
Yeah.
I wish they would have done that, but alas, they didn't.
Maybe soon.
So anyway, we're talking about a zombie, goopy, gross, dripping. This is one of the grossest zombies I've ever seen. Versus a lady who can handle herself, who killed many people with weapons in said film. Tarman was taken out by some punks. Now they have whips. Tarman's a zombie.
And they can swing from things. Would the zombie use it?
I mean, he would try. Again, they know I mean, well, he's a zombie, but I mean, he's still. But through dumb luck, could like get it. He gets it around her waist, like through dumb luck. Whoosh, and again, these are Indiana Jones slap Larson Tyler whips.
Yeah.
So whoosh, I know it's a whip. Whips don't work that way, but this is a movie. This is an '80s movie whip. So it got her. It got Reggie. He's pulling her towards her. Whoosh, puts it around his head.
And they're in hell.
That's just the background.
Yeah.
I mean,
Pinhead
Pinhead could be in the background with some chains, slow, like tinkling, like ding.
Yeah.
We have such wonderful
Chain.
things to show you.
They whip to the chain.
She could, or use it to hold
For
on.
mobility.
Like,
I'm just thinking of a mobility thing. Yeah, to hold on, exactly.
but I mean, Tarman, he's not like a running zombie, but he's not like. Rrr. But again, it's a zombie.
Because it's quite a motion to whip a whip.
And that's what, just like he's holding it. So through dumb luck.
Yeah.
For cinematic part, this is an '80s character fight. This is an '80s movie battle. Mm-hmm. Oh no, it got her.
Yeah. But her experience and everything would overcome.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
I mean, against a thinking human opponent, maybe it depends on who it would be.
Right.
But against the Tar Man, I'd say Reggie would.
There it is.
Take it.
He's visited gmail.com.
Two more battles for this episode. We'll bid adieu till next week and do the second half of the first round. Ooh, shit. We have Jason Voorhees from part 2. So Sackhead Jason versus Christine.
The car.
Jason Voorhees versus a car.
Okay.
Let's see where they're fighting. Because the docking bay of a visitor mothership. So imagine the TV
Docking
version of
bay.
V. There's a big docking bay. There's plenty of room. So Christine can drive around. They're not on some narrow bridge pit or in the middle of the ocean or anything like that. There is room for Christine to move. But they have...
Well, hanging from the rearview mirror are a pair of nunchucks.
So Jason Voorhees has nunchucks,
nunchucks
to fight a car.
Yeah. You're going to get some hits on the car.
Yeah.
He's not very fast. He's going to get hit.
Actually, in part 2, he runs.
Oh, he runs.
Now, in part 2...
does he sidestep?
He's pretty quick, because he's Sackhead Jason, so he's like, we still think he's just a disfigured hillbilly. But he's fighting a car.
The question is, can you disable a car with some nunchucks? If he had the lightsaber, totally.
It could be a different fight, but Jason Voorhees...
But he couldn't even take down the tires with the nunchucks.
He would crack the windshield. That would just piss her off.
Right.
Now, of course, he can even grab her. He can get inside of her. But, and again, this is not superhuman Jason.
Right.
This is pretty... At this point in the storyline, part 2, he's human. He's foul. He can die. Mm-hmm. Imagine if you were in a car and had to, you couldn't, you have to stop the car. You can't just turn her off. You're like,
True.
Jason just jumps in the car, jumps on top.
How smart is this Jason?
Not very smart. He's a redneck hillbilly.
If we're in a big room, for example, let's say it's a big room, kind of like this room. If I stood in the corner, could a car get me?
Christine would she would ram.
Until she got you?
They show it a little bit in the movie, but in the book, there's a dude in a house. And he's just praying that the floor gives way before she tears the stairs down and tears the house down.
True.
So but Christine,
this is an alien ship, alloys we've never heard of.
True.
Keeping it together, it's not breaking. She rams a wall. She's taking the hit. So could Jason stand in a corner?
Yes.
Because I think that would really mess up her front end. And would be quick enough to do something about that.
I think the key to and for this is again one of those characters this is just throwing it in to have a monkey wrench, crazy character.
I'm just trying to give him a chance.
There are plenty of absolutely there are plenty of locations where she would lose immediately.
Sure.
This one, there has to be a winner.
Lost at the pit.
Her wheels wouldn't even. She would have just been sitting there,
and he just
try to just get her off of it.
Yeah, or the ice rink. But yeah, so the corner is an option for him. You said it's the docking bay, is that what it is?
Mm-hmm. So it's open. That you could say there's a shuttle parked over here, but it's big, open.
Right. So you'd wonder if there was an exit.
there would be like, the big opening.
Right, to space.
Where the camera is in that opening, or the camera will be on the other side against the wall looking out, so that the background of the stage is that big opening.
He would have to be super agile. I don't think he's the one to do it.
Correct.
For Van Damme or something like that. Sidestepping all day.
Splitting over the top of the car, bracing the balls
just
as it goes
standing
under.
in front of the dock. Like a bull.
That would be the only way to. That would be the only way to do it.
Space.
Yeah. But Part 2, Jason would not. He would just, you
think he'd have a shot?
No,
he would think he has a shot.
Oh yeah. Well, again, I would imagine like this is the Jason like where he sees his mother like kill for mommy.
Yeah.
So again, they have to kill Christine. Just like, oh, it's a human. I'm going to run him over.
Yeah, and
Jason be like, I have to kill this car with this bizarre weapon. So I think Jason would just try to like beat the car to death, and Christine would just eventually like he's on the hood, just something like that. And Jason, like any other logically thinking character probably would win this one.
Yeah,
but not Jason Voorhees in Part 2.
No, agreed. But hopefully a smarter person will come along.
Maybe.
Round 2.
We'll see. Ooh.
For the finale for today.
So the last fight of this inaugural episode of the Character Showdown with Dolph Lundgren's Punisher. And the forecast for this fight, pain, as the Punisher fights Mr. T, Clubber Lang, the man who killed Mick in Rocky 3.
Wow.
So this is another one completely going to depend on the weapons and the location. Location is in the favor of Clubber Lang because it is a wrestling ring.
Oh.
Which is basically a boxing ring with some springs.
And the place, no weapons, the purity of unarmed combat.
Oh, shit! Ooh.
Oh.
If any other weapon card would have came up,
right.
Punisher. I would say there's no Punisher. He's a master. Yeah. Now, the Punisher's no slouch when it comes to unarmed combat.
Right. But we're in a wrestling ring with hands.
It's basically Clubber Lang's domain. Like he is the final boss. This is the boss fight of this. This is the final level. You're fighting in where he's king, so to speak, because he beat Rocky.
Yeah.
And not hindered by the fact of having
right, no gloves.
No gloves. Now, but so my initial thought was, Clubber Lang could take this in that case. However, the Punisher would not fight. Like the Punisher
it's also not a boxing match.
That's true. But that's how Clubber Lang knows how to fight.
True.
Now, we have seen in the real world a boxer beat the shit out of a mixed martial artist.
Right. Because you land a hit, it's over.
Yeah. So now this might be one. Now again, if you let us know, because if this was a comic book, the Punisher would kill Clubber Lang by like snapping his, fighting dirty. Like, come on, I'm gonna get you, sucker. And get some hits in. Punisher realizes he can't take him. Punisher's on the ground. He kicks his kneecap, bending it backwards. Clubber Lang falls. Yeah. Punisher stands up and crushes his skull. Now, again, it could go any way. However, this is the 80s revisited. Sure. This is an 80s movie. This is an 80s character fight. We're not, we're keeping it themed and in the flavor of everything. Clubber Lang would beat the shit out of the Punisher.
Right. He wouldn't let up because the fight is to the death.
Yeah, and they both know that. Yeah. And now when they come in this arena, the Punisher just sees a dude. He doesn't have a clue that this is a world heavyweight champion.
Right.
Now Clubber Lang doesn't know this dude might fight dirty.
But he knows he is.
But Clubber Lang's like, I'm in a ring. I'm going to beat, ding ding. Or
they both have the killer instinct.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. I mean, the Punisher obviously has more kills, but Clubber Lang killed Mick. He's a killer. So there's that. So yeah, I would say the movie version of this, Clubber Lang would kill the Punisher.
Yeah.
Now, this is completely. We've obviously said there's multiple ways for it to happen, but I think the randomization on this one, Clubber Lang has the arena. It's literally his weapons of choice.
Right. He had everything in his favor.
Yeah, in his favor. So I think that is the determining factor. If it had been the jungles of Vietnam, Clubber Lang, and then even
pistols,
anything else,
right?
It would have gone differently. So I'm gonna, if we're in agreement, I'll say Clubber Lang
80s revisited at gmail.com.
defeats the Punisher.
Flip this. If you disagree, all you got to do is write. And
Let us know.
Say your piece. List them all out. List out all the ones you agree with and don't agree with. Love to know it.
And we will go through every one, and we will see. So you got 2 weeks, because next week we're going to end it here. We're going to end the character show down here. We're halfway through. Literally, actually, we're not even halfway through. We're a third of the way through.
Right.
So we're going to get through, you have pretty much 3 weeks or 2 weeks from today to get in any emails for this round before we move on to the next ones.
Right.
So now, just so you know how we're recording this, we're recording a couple of them each session, but we will not do different rounds the same night while we're recording.
Yeah.
So that way we'll have time for your feedback and questions or rebuttals.
Right.
I should say. So if we were wrong, now again, it's all speculation, but we love to talk. I love the sound of my own voice, which is why we have 200 and something plus episodes of this podcast.
Right.
So there's still plenty to talk about, plenty of things to discuss. But that we'll talk about the continuation of this first round next time as we continue our 100 character battle.
Yeah.
But real quick, back to the future segment to round it out, so we don't end on total death and blood of some beloved characters. They're cleaning the custodians are squeegeeing the rings and
intermission.
Getting everything ready. But saw a couple of recent movies lately. Of course, nothing in the theater. I wish. So behind on the theater films. But I did see The Lion King live action with quotation marks. I was bored to death.
Wow.
Now
I've seen this.
Yeah, I've seen this better.
All right.
Now, it looked some of the best CG I've ever seen.
Yeah.
There's still the uncanny valley. You can still tell. But still shots. You have to give it a little squint. Okay, that's bar none. Some of the Oscar for best visual effects. Sure.
Story. Story was the same.
Yeah, exactly the same. They change up a few of the songs. They add a new one.
So they can compete for best song.
Basically, that kind of thing. Beyonce was as wooden as Rafiki's staff. Donald Glover was great. I liked him better than Matthew Broderick.
Right.
In terms of the voice acting.
Yeah.
Timon and Pumbaa were Seth Rogen and I forget who was that not late night show host, I believe. Nathan, none of the voices were better.
Right.
Except for like I said, Donald Glover, I liked him.
I thought one of them was Michael Keegan, something like that.
I'm not sure. I think he might have been somebody else. One of the hyenas, maybe. But anyway.
I thought he was Puma or whatever, Timon or
he
whatever.
Maybe. And I don't think so. I thought it was somebody else, but correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, I mean.
Seth Rogen was definitely the warthog.
A whole bunch of fart jokes. Aside from, the charm of the original, probably not in front of the kids. They made a joke about it.
Oh, Nathan Lane, Timon.
Well, wait, in the original?
Oh, in the original. Whoops. That's why I'm looking at this. Well, I saw Mustafa was the same, so I just assumed it was...
Well, that's the thing. James Earl Jones, he's doing the same character. And I read in the trivia on IMDb, they were like, oh, Jon Favreau was like, and again, this is Jon Favreau that directed this and everything, so there's a lot of talent in this, but it's just like, I'm watching Planet Earth, but it's boring.
Billy Eichner.
Okay.
On the street with Billy Eichner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But James Earl Jones, even his performance, IMDb said Favreau liked, got James Earl Jones as that was the legacy voice actor.
Right.
Because he's, obviously still around, but now he's now he's actually playing an old king. Mustafa's not Mustafa. God damn it. Hold on.
Simba?
No, Simba.
Scar?
The dad. Don't say it. The dad. Mufasa. I kept saying Mustafa. Where the hell did that come from?
Mustafa.
Thinking of Mustafa Akkad from the Halloween episode last time. But Mufasa, he's not supposed to be some old king. He's not 80 years old like James Earl Jones.
Right.
Otherwise, then Scar would just have to wait a couple of, just a little bit.
Nah, I got time.
Exactly. So, and some of the lines he delivers, the first one is iconic to children of the 80s and the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's, you don't fuck with that. You don't fuck with Lion King.
Yeah.
There was the meme when it was coming out.
You don't fuck with the Lion King.
That was the tagline, on the poster.
Oh, that would have made the movie more interesting.
The R-rated version. The opening line, no, they hit that note, and you're like, okay, and then it's it's just not the same. It's just not the same. And there's only one single live action shot in the film, and it's the opening shot. Everything else is, every single other frame is in the computer. Yeah. Well, Jon Favreau said it on IMDb. He said, he said because everything looks, and it does. The movie looks fantastic. No amazing. The landscape, everything. You can still tell it's CG, but it's damn good CG.
Right.
But it's just like, it's not a live action remake.
No.
You know,
Have they ever claimed that?
No, it's the remake, but it's like, the the next live action Disney film is The Lion King. Like, no, it's not live action.
That's true.
It's not live action at all. There's literally one shot and there's no animals in it. I mean, the trees are in it, so they're alive. So there's your live action. But my point is, it's same thing I have with Beauty and the Beast. It's not a remake when 90% of the movie is CG.
Yeah,
that's just. Again, it made a shit ton of money. Mm-hmm. That is why we're seeing this.
That was the goal.
Exactly. It was not a goal for any reason other than that. I love the Jungle Book. That was great because you had the kid. You had that.
Oof. Worldwide gross $1.6 billion.
Jesus Christ! God, Disney
made for a budget for $260 million, which is no picnic. But they knew.
Oh, they knew.
We're making over $1 billion. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
But
it's not
skip
over.
it. The only live one, or the only animated remake that I liked was, I would say, like I've seen them all now. After seeing Lion King, is Aladdin. I've thoroughly enjoyed watching Aladdin.
I did watch Aladdin.
I thought Will Smith, he wasn't trying to be Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And I think that was the key to where because just like the Lion King, you're touching a sacred character to a lot of people here. And of course, Robin Williams is no longer with us, so it's even more like you got to be careful. But with the Lion King remake, it's just is that a challenge, Scar? Instead of is that a challenge? It wasn't there. The
great thing for me is I wasn't raised on Disney movies, so when I watched Aladdin live, it was new to me.
There you go.
I had never seen the original completely. I seen clips and stuff. Mm-hmm. But same goes for Lion King. I never saw the full thing.
Wow. With your dad pirating all those VHSs, you never saw the Lion King?
He pirated movies he wanted to watch, which worked out okay. We had Tango and Cash.
Hey, I'm not complaining. I'm just a little surprised.
The only Disney we had was Bambi and The Jungle Book.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
I know those movies back and forth.
Well, there you go. So yeah, but obviously kids are going to love it because it's talking animals.
Yeah.
But what blows my mind is that you see programs like Blue Planet, Planet Earth 1, Planet Earth 2. There's a new one that's out right now on BBC. Mm-hmm. Seven Planets, One World, I think is how it's called, where each episode is a different continent. Mm-hmm. And the things that people are shooting that should be CG, but is 100% real, mm-hmm. And on nowhere near a $260 million budget. Watch Planet Earth. Watch the whole thing with the iguanas escaping the snakes. That was more entertaining and interesting than anything in The Lion King, the remake of The Lion King. But again, so they could have done, I'm not saying they would, throw a warthog in a pride of lions and get them to act, but you could, there's a lot of live action stuff you could have done to at least have something live instead of just reanimating it with CG.
I don't think it would ever, it's just, there's too much in that movie I think it would feel like they were trying too hard. Yeah, it's just
I'm sure they tried. I would assume they thought about
everyone
that.
Been like, y'all should just CG that. I'm surprised the beginning wasn't CG.
But he said you just want to throw it in there so then people would be wouldn't know what was real, what wasn't. But the whole time, okay,
fake.
There's still the uncanny valley when it comes to that. There's always that one little thing that's off.
Yeah.
And especially because you don't get animals with hair. And usually for me, that's usually when I'm watching anything that's CG or it might be fake.
Like they're underwater.
The hair does not move. That's very rarely does they get hair right.
Now they're getting better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always getting better. I watch a lot of those VFX artists react. They point out those kind of things. Mm-hmm. Makes sense. It's stuff you wouldn't even think about, the backlighting of some portion of a body, and it's just that's it. Mm-hmm.
So like you said, it's getting there. It's getting better. But I was just you took a movie and you made it 30 minutes longer and didn't add anything to it except a song. Mm. So it's just it's like watching a nature documentary with a boring narrator.
Right.
You don't have David Attenborough explaining to you the actual factual things that these creatures are doing. You just have oh, what are we doing here, Timon? I don't know. Farted again. For an extra 3 minutes. So See, the R-rated version would have been great,
Yeah.
but not this version. But then also I saw The Art of Self-Defense with one of my least favorite actors, Jesse.
The Body Ventura.
I wish. This is what we're going to do. Eisenberg. I was trying to think of the last name.
Oh, Jesse Eisenberg.
I don't know if it was a theatrical film. I saw the trailer in front of Joker. I was like, oh, that looks like, kind of a dark comedy kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty good. He's annoying. Like I honestly could say I've never liked Jesse Eisenberg in anything. He's not my cup of tea. He's just always like, I'm always the awkward person. I don't know what I'm doing here. What am I doing? Hi, help me. That was my Jesse Eisenberg impression. In case you didn't notice.
Spot on.
It really kind of was. No, but he, I'm just not a fan. And his character, you had to have that character in this film, but it was entertaining dark comedy. I like those kind of movies. So, because you never know where they're going to go, because it's a black comedy. So, I mean, you're just watching all of a sudden, oh shit, or whoa, didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So that's why I like films like that. So I like it way better than The Lion King. Put it to you that way. And I saw something else, but I can't remember what.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to look up. I'm on Netflix because I'm like, I watched something. I watched El Camino. I know that.
We tried to watch it the day it came out, and we just watched the red circle spin for 20 minutes.
Oh, really?
I said, fuck this, and haven't gone back to it yet.
Oh.
So no spoilers on that.
Yep, no spoilers, but I did watch it. I'm trying to remember what else I watched.
Did watch the first episode of The Mandalorian, which...
I did not watch that yet, so no spoilers for that.
Well, I'm sure you've heard, like, people are like, oh, don't spoil the end of it. Have you heard? Have you seen
I've seen people spoil the end of it.
Oh, so you know already?
I don't know specifics. I know there's a reveal.
Don't get okay. Disney Plus came out, and then an hour later, all over social media, nobody ruined the ending of The Mandalorian. Like you just did by saying that. So now,
exactly, that's exactly what happened to me.
So because
I was like, oh, well, great. I'll be expecting a big ending.
Yeah. So I wake up. So Disney Plus launched on Tuesday, whatever day it was. I wake up. Oh, let me download the Disney Plus app on my television. Sign in. I'm going to watch the Nightcrawler episode of X-Men because that episode's badass. And doesn't load. Like, I figure everybody's trying to log on. So, I'm not staying home from work to binge Disney.
Right.
Nothing on this day. I'm staying home to play this game all day. Never do that on launch day unless it's a single player game. Because you're going to have server, I can't log into the server. Duh.
Yeah, everybody's playing right now.
Exactly.
It's like when an MMO comes out.
Pretty much. Like, you are number 5,637 in the queue. Blah, blah, blah. Every single goddamn time.
I can't remember what else I watched.
So, you see that. I'm like, okay, so the entire time, I'm not going to spoil it. The whole time I'm watching the episode, I'm like, holy shit, like, who is it? Oh, it could be this person. And then like, oh, well, it can't be that person. The whole time, I'm not even watching the film. I'm just trying to figure out who they're talking about. Like, who's it going to be? Everybody's saying, don't spoil it. I didn't think it was a spoiler at all. If I would have known the ending, I would not have considered that a spoiler. And I'm a Star Wars nerd. Now, let me phrase it.
You weren't impressed.
I'm an original trilogy nerd, so I'm thinking, it could be this character. I'm thinking obscure characters from the goddamn books that are no longer even canon. Like, it could be this person, this person. Oh, shit, are they going to have the balls to bring this person in? No, I was just like, oh, okay.
Not impressed.
No. I'm impressed with it. The show was great.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is exciting. This is my Star Wars. This is Rogue One, Western-esque, gritty, I say gritty, as gritty as a Star Wars television show on a Disney streaming service can be, but I mean, people are dying, so I mean, but it's not like, bleh. But it's, it's good. And it does a lot of world building. It's not Boba Fett. Be like, oh, well, that Boba Fett. And I get, no, God damn it, no. It's not Boba Fett. This takes place after Jedi. Boba Fett is inside a Sarlacc right now. You dumb asshole. Anyway, end of rant. Get on my little soapbox. Oh, sorry, Ben. I think I talked longer than 10 seconds about CG, too, when talking about The Lion King.
You definitely did.
But anyway, The Mandalorian's great. I'm looking forward to the next episode drops tomorrow. I picked up Death Stranding, which was a big mistake because I played 10 minutes of it, and that's all I've played since it came out because I have a child.
That's why. Not because you hated it.
No, but I mean, the first, like, I'm basically where you're kind of getting cut loose for the first time in the game.
Right.
And I am completely, like, lost with the story. But in a good way, like, okay, this, like, what the hell is, like, I'm completely confused, but in that good way to where, like, it's interesting. I want to know more. I have no time to sit down and play it because I'm doing a podcast for all my peeps.
There's no way to see Netflix history. Is that not a thing?
Should be like continue watching for Jesse. There should be I know on my TV there is. I'm not sure on the iPhone app because I never watch.
I guess they
stuff
assumed I finished it completely, though.
We watched something else too, but I can't remember. Something pretty
I
recent.
watched Wayne's World 2.
Fuck yeah. One of the greatest sequels of all time.
Yeah.
But anyway, hopefully you'll think about it by the time we get to the end of the next episode. Which we're about to record right now, but you'll hear next week.
Oh, I watched the full series. I binged Living with Yourself with Paul Rudd.
Oh, Autumn was watching that, so
Yeah.
I caught bits and pieces.
Yeah, not a bad little show.
Because while I'm in the
I
bath,
watched Dolomite Is My Name.
I want to see that. I haven't watched that yet.
With
Eddie Murphy and
It's
a whole
all
bunch of
right.
other people.
The ending shocked me. That said, this was a true story.
I see where this is going.
Well, I was just surprised it was true.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, because after it finished, I was like, wait a second, this based on a true thing. Like, I don't know if you know anything about the plot.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Because
It's said in the trailer. He's making a movie. And so the movie, exists. Like,
Gotcha.
the real one exists. And I would like to watch that. Because it's ridiculous.
Gotcha.
If you like campy, weird movies from the 70s.
Hell yeah. I'm
But yeah.
game. Anyway, so we'll wrap this episode up so y'all can get back to your regularly scheduled lives. And we'll be back next week with the part 2 of the first 3-parter for
Do you want to mention
the character
that?
battle. And yeah, if in case our viewers are wondering, the Otter card is from our good friend Sean in New Orleans, who sent us our free passes
Very
to the
cool.
Audubon Zoo, which we greatly appreciate, Sean. I'm trying to get a weekend figured out to where we can run over there. So,
Yep.
but we will let you know
Send
for
us
sure.
cards. Not just him, but
Anybody,
everyone.
send us gifts.
Yeah, Christmas is coming. Send Trey a Christmas card.
Care of 80s Revisit. I don't
Yeah.
know. Send us something and we'll let you know the address. Physical. I have a P.O. box for work. You send the P.O. box.
There you go.
I don't want you to know where we live so you don't shoot us up like Dr. The Twitch guy. Disarray, whatever.
Oh.
Disrespect. Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
come shoot up our houses when you know where we live. We have a P.O. box so you can shoot at the post office
right.
if you're a crazy Trumpian wacko. Just kidding. But don't forget, there's plenty of other episodes. Catch up on the other character battle if you don't care to be spoiled, since I already did that. And then don't forget, we have I Heart Board Games on Twitch and YouTube. We also have Melissa Sings. And then, of course, our good friend Ben, the Tasmanian Devil Wyatt, with the Something Something Podcast Network, still cranking out episodes. And I'm so far behind because when I get in my car, I just put on loud music and just... That's my relaxing right now with just...
Wow.
Too long didn't read, but we had two hourly people just not come back from lunch yesterday.
You're running them ragged.
Nope. I'll tell you that people are like, oh God, he can't keep employees. What is he doing? Like, I'm doing nothing. I'm a good goddamn boss. I was they had sick kids. Like, oh, just go home. Don't worry, I'll stay late and close. You go home.
Yeah.
They just disappeared. And our first thought was like,
On the
hey,
same day?
yeah. Well, they rode together.
Oh.
Which, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest, they were probably going to get let go because they were not doing their job anyway.
I gotcha.
And they probably knew that because I brought them in and said, hey, look, y'all didn't show up on time last Saturday. Good thing I got off. I had to do this is nonsense. You don't have to listen to this. But since I'm bringing it up, I might as well finish the story. So I told them they're supposed to, we open on Saturdays at 11. They're supposed to be there by 10:30 to count the drawers down, all that stuff. I mean, typical, simple retail. There's nothing hard here.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of showing up and being at the store for 4 hours.
Right.
It's nothing. I had a show across the street that morning for an open house for the college. So luckily that ended to where I'm at the store. I'm like, where are you? Hey, girls, it's almost 11. Where you at? And they're riding together.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we're almost there. I thought we opened at 11. I'm like, no. First of all, this one girl knew from working a Saturday and being late before that we open at 11. Right. So that was an invalid excuse.
You got to be there.
And then luckily I was there, ran back across the street, opened up. We had 3 people in the parking lot ready to shop. Wow. So I'm sitting there doing everything. They finally walk in. I wanted to fire them right there. I was like, nope, I'd rather go home today and relax. And I mean, when you're, of course, there's definite reasons to fire people immediately.
Sure.
But these are the type of employees to where I needed another party in the room. Mm-hmm. I wanted another party in the room if I was going to fire them for legal, for any legality purpose, put it to you that way. So that there's a witness like, no, that didn't happen. He said, this is the reason. It's like,
Don't have cameras inside?
We do, but again, we do actually just got Ring. We just switched the ring, so I only have one camera instead of 3.
Right.
And I mean, now that I've played with it enough, I know that there were customers in the store too.
Sure.
And I'll be honest, I was so mad, and I didn't want to get mad and then have to work for 4 hours at the store by myself.
Right.
Mad.
Yeah.
They're here. Get me through the day, and I brought them in Monday. I said, "Hey, look, that's unacceptable. One more time, I'm gonna have to let you go." Like, and again, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to let you go. I praise them, like, hey, when you're with when they were face to face with customers, they were great. Mm-hmm. They were doing that part of the job. But then the second the customer leaves, yeah, of course you listen. I'm leaning on the counter of my store, like like falling asleep, like. No, there's a ton of shit to do.
Right.
I'd have to give them a 20-point list every day, and like they mark it like, oh yeah, I cleaned the bathroom. I go look at the bathroom. No, you didn't clean the bathroom.
Right.
Tell me what you did in the Oh, I wiped this, and oh no, these are the Swiffer dusters. These are the wet mops. It takes 10 minutes. We have rubber gloves. And I make sure every new employee sees me clean the bathrooms at least once before I ask them to do it. Like I'm the Vince McMahon of bar. My employees don't do anything that I don't do. But and I used to always think it's just us. Like we just can't. I guess we're just so lenient and we're so nice that people just take advantage. And you're exactly right, because the more I talk to people that have to hire people, it's just like, no, it's not you. Like I tell stories that make my head spin. But when they didn't come back for lunch, I was like,
too.
They didn't come back for lunch. I was like,
can't find anybody
this
reliable.
Is good. You really, and it's. We start at $10 an hour,
yeah.
And for a Louisiana the living wage in Louisiana is $11. We start at 10.
Yeah,
that's our training wage.
Right. Is that a full-time job?
Yeah, part or full-time. We start at 10. You need a job, Jesse?
No, I think
I don't hire friends or family.
I think I know people. But
dependable people, send them my way. Yeah. Just hired a new girl today, so who's in the National Guard. So I'm hoping that works out. That military, that little extra bit of discipline. But this has been local community job hunting talk. But if you managed to make it through this far, we will see you next week as we continue the 100-character battle royale. And until then, I will hopefully remain sane and Trey Harris,
Jesse Sedgley,
Cowabunga.